Bucci was a radiant teenager whose beauty often drew compliments from strangers. But behind her captivating smile lay a tumultuous life. She became pregnant at 17, a reality that shattered her dreams of completing her education and building a better future. When the father of her child vanished, leaving her to fend for herself, Bucci made the brave yet heart-wrenching decision to keep her baby. The child, Oma, became her world, but her world soon crumbled further. The death of Bucci's parents came as a double blow. Left alone and penniless, she struggled to provide for herself and her baby. Nights were spent crying silently while Oma slept. Hunger gnawed at them both. Bucci's frail body couldn't keep up with the demands of motherhood. Realizing she couldn't give her daughter the life she deserved, she made the agonizing choice to leave Oma at an orphanage. The director, Mrs. Affam, was a kind woman with a warm heart. She listened to Bucci's story and promised her, "I will ensure your daughter is taken care of, Bucci." I promise. Bucci kissed her baby's forehead one last time, whispering, "Mama loves you, my sweet Oma, always." As she walked away, her tears blurred her vision. Years later, haunted by guilt and longing, Bucci returned to the orphanage, only to find it had burned down. Mrs. Affam had passed away, and all adoption records were destroyed. Nobody could tell her where Oma was. That day, Bucci's heart shattered anew. For years, guilt consumed her. She tried various trades to make ends meet, but found solace in cooking. Her roadside food stall became her lifeline. Workers and travelers adored her meals, and for the first time in years, she felt a sliver of purpose. But the void left by Oma remained an unhealed wound. One sunny day, as Bucci served her customers, a sleek, black car pulled up. Its gleaming exterior turned heads. The tinted window rolled down, revealing a poised young woman with striking features. "Good afternoon," the lady said, with a warm yet commanding voice. "I'm Kioma. They call me Oma for short. I've heard your food is exceptional." Bucci's heart skipped a beat at the mention of the name. "Yes, Ma," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. "I want you to be my personal chef. I'll pay you 5 times what you're earning now. You'll also have free accommodation and bonuses." Bucci's eyes widened. "Are you serious, Ma?" "Completely. If you're interested, you can start immediately." Excited, Bucci accepted the offer. The opportunity seemed like a miracle. At Oma's luxurious home, Bucci marveled at the grandeur. Everything sparkled, from the chandeliers to the polished floors. The staff spoke highly of Oma. "She's the best boss anyone could ask for," one maid said. But Bucci's experience was different. Oma often avoided her, and when they interacted, she seemed cold, even irritated. Bucci couldn't understand why. She worked tirelessly, perfecting meals, yet Oma barely acknowledged her efforts. One evening, Oma requested a special dinner. Bucci poured her heart into preparing it, but Oma refused to eat it. 7 times that night, Bucci's dishes were sent back untouched. The staff whispered behind her back, speculating why Oma seemed to dislike her. The next morning, Bucci approached Oma with hesitation. "Madam, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I'm concerned I may have done something wrong. If I have, please tell me so I can improve." Oma's expression softened for a moment, but quickly hardened. "You've done nothing wrong. Please go back to work." The rumors among the staff intensified. Some claimed Oma kept Bucci around out of pity. Others suggested deeper, mysterious reasons. Bucci tried to ignore them, but the tension weighed on her. One day, exhausted and frustrated, Bucci decided to resign. As she handed Omar her resignation letter, the young woman's eyes narrowed. "You're leaving because you're uncomfortable?" Bucci hesitated. "I believe it's best for everyone. My presence seems to bother you, and I don't want to be a burden." Omar's voice rose, tinged with anger. "That's my point. You run away when things get hard, just like you did before. You're not fit to be a mother to anyone." The words struck Bucci like a blow. "I don't understand. What does being a mother have to do with this?" Omar's voice trembled with emotion. "How would you understand? You don't care about anyone but yourself. Run away, like you always do. You don't deserve to be a mother." Bucci's hands shook. "Why are you saying this? What have I done to deserve such harsh words?" Omar walked away quickly, without saying a word. Dear amazing viewers, what does the future hold for Bucci if she resigns from her job? Will she find her lost daughter? Keep watching to find out. Before I continue, I would like to ask you to kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet and turn on the notification button. Please like the video and drop a comment. Much appreciation. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you so much. Now, back to the story. A few days later, Bucci got a new job at an upscale restaurant. She was hired because of her previous experience as Omar's personal chef. Bucci had just started enjoying her new job as a cook at the restaurant when Mr. Ray, the manager, called her into his office. "The restaurant has been sold," Mr. Ray informed her. "The new owner specifically requested you prepare her special meals and serve her personally." Without hesitation, Bucci agreed. "Yes, sir. That's not a problem," she said confidently. A few days later, Bucci was shocked to learn that the new owner was Omar, her former boss. From that day, Omar made life unbearable for Bucci. She criticized her food, found fault with her service, and seemed intent on making her miserable. Frustrated, Bucci went to Mr. Ray for help. "Sir, Omar's treatment of me is unfair. Can you talk to her?" Mr. Ray shook his head. "I suggest you speak to her directly. Maybe she'll tell you how to improve." Reluctantly, Bucci approached Omar one afternoon. "Madam, I'd like to know how I can better serve you," she began cautiously. Omar cut her off sharply. "If you're tired of working here, leave. That's what you're good at. Running away." Bucci stared at her, stunned. "Ma, I haven't even said anything wrong." With tears in her eyes, Omar stepped closer. "You abandoned me. You left me at that orphanage without a second thought. Do you know what that did to me?" Bucci froze, her breath catching in her throat. "What? What are you saying?" "I am Omar," she whispered. "Your daughter." Time seemed to stand still. Bucci's knees buckled, and she sank to the floor. "No, it can't be." Bucci's heart sank as realization dawned. The pain in Omar's words revealed the truth she had long feared. Omar was her lost daughter. Omar pulled back her hair, revealing a small birthmark on her neck. "Does this look familiar?" Bucci's eyes widened. Tears streamed down her face as she recognized the mark. "It's you, my baby, my sweet Omar." Both women broke down, sobbing. Bucci reached out, but Omar stepped back. "Do you know how many nights I cried myself to sleep, wondering why my own mother didn't want me?" "I didn't want to give you up," Bucci cried. "I was young, alone, and desperate. After my parents died, I had nothing. Leaving you at the orphanage was the hardest thing I've ever done." "And yet you did it," Omar shot back. "Do you know the pain of not knowing where you come from, of wondering if you were loved at all?" Bucci fell silent, her guilt suffocating her. "I'm sorry, Oma. I'm so sorry." Oma's tears flowed freely. "Sorry won't erase the years I spent feeling abandoned. But maybe we can start over." Bucci's heart ached with hope. "If you'll let me, I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you." The road to healing would be long, but for the first time in years, both women felt a glimmer of hope. The days that followed were filled with tentative conversations. Oma shared stories of her childhood with her adoptive mother, a kind but strict woman who had given her a comfortable life. Yet, even in the security of her adoptive home, Oma had always felt a void. "She told me about you before she passed," Oma confessed one evening. "She said you loved me, but couldn't care for me. I didn't want to believe her at first." Bucci listened intently, her eyes never leaving Oma. "I wish I could turn back time. I wish I could have been there for you." "I spent years trying to find you," Oma said, her voice breaking. "Every lead was a dead end. I thought you didn't want to be found." "No," Bucci said firmly. "I never stopped thinking about you. I didn't know how to find you after the fire." Slowly, they began to rebuild their relationship. Bucci's cooking became a bridge between them. Oma would sit in the kitchen, watching her mother cook, and they would share quiet moments filled with laughter and tears. One afternoon, Oma surprised Bucci with a visit to a therapist. "I think we both need this," she said softly. The sessions were intense, forcing them to confront their pain and resentment. But with each session, they grew closer, understanding each other better. Bucci learned of Oma's struggles with self-worth, while Oma saw the sacrifices her mother had made. Months turned into a year, and their bond deepened. Oma introduced Bucci to her friends and colleagues, proudly calling her "my mom." Bucci, in turn, found a renewed sense of purpose, not just as a mother, but as a woman reclaiming her life. One day, as they sat on the veranda of Oma's home, watching the sunset, Oma took Bucci's hand. "I forgive you, Mama." Bucci's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, my daughter. Thank you for giving me a second chance." Their journey was far from over, but they faced it together, mother and daughter, united by love and the promise of a brighter future. Before you watch the next video, kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Please click on the subscribe button, turn on the notification button, and like this video. Be a part of my channel's growth by clicking on the next video on the screen and drop a comment to let me know what you think about the story. Thank you for watching. Much appreciation.